Hello, welcome back to English with Ella. Oh, it is so good to have you here again. If this is your very first time, welcome. My name is Ella, and on this channel, I tell you true stories from my life. In clear, natural English. Slowly enough to follow. Naturally enough to actually learn from. And if you listened to episode 1, thank you. Truly. The response was just wonderful, and reading your comments absolutely made my week. You are the reason I do this, and I am so happy you are here. So, episode 2. Last time, if you remember, I told you about a terrible morning. A morning with no coffee, no umbrella, and a very long walk in very heavy rain. Not my finest hour. But today's story? Oh, today's story is worse. Way, way worse. Because today I want to tell you about the time I got completely and utterly lost. In a city. A city I had visited many times before. A city I genuinely believed I knew well. Spoiler, I did not know it well. Not even a little bit. But before we get into the story, I want to teach you our first word of the episode. Because it is the most important word of today. And that word is, to get lost. To get lost. To get lost means to not know where you are. To be in a place and have absolutely no idea which direction to go, which street to take, or how to find your way back. You are lost. You have gotten lost. Let me give you some examples so it really sticks. I got lost on my way to the restaurant. That means I could not find the restaurant. I didn't know where I was going. She always gets lost in new cities. That means, whenever she goes somewhere new, she loses her sense of direction. Don't worry, we won't get lost. I know this area. That means, I'm confident I know where we are, so we'll be fine. That last one is exactly what I said before this particular story happened. And yes, it is very funny in hindsight. To get lost. Remember that one. We'll be using it a lot today. Right, are you comfortable? Do you have your drink? Good, because this story starts on a Saturday afternoon in a beautiful city. And it ends with me sitting on some steps, completely alone, with absolutely no idea where I was. Let's begin. So, it was a Saturday, a warm, sunny Saturday, which already felt like a gift because where I live, warm, sunny days are not exactly guaranteed. I was visiting a city I had been to before, a few times actually. It's a beautiful place. Old buildings, cobbled streets, little independent shops tucked into alleyways, gorgeous cafes on every corner. The kind of city you just want to walk around and explore. And that is exactly what I plan to do. Just walk. No plan, no map, no itinerary. Just me, my comfortable shoes, and a whole afternoon to fill. Now, here is our second word. Familiar. Familiar. Familiar means something that you know, something that feels known to you, recognized, comfortable, not new or strange. If a place feels familiar, it means you've been there before, or it reminds you of somewhere you know. Examples, yes? Here we go. This street looks familiar. I think we've been here before. That means I recognize this street. I've seen it before. She had a familiar voice, warm and easy to listen to. That means her voice felt like one I'd heard before, comfortable and known. The smell of that bakery was so familiar. It reminded me of my grandmother's kitchen. That means that smell felt like a memory, known and comforting. Familiar. Got it? Good. Because I was absolutely convinced that this city felt familiar to me. I was sure I knew it. I was completely, utterly, 100% wrong. Okay, back to the story. I started walking from the main square, which I did actually recognize. Big fountain in the middle, rows of outdoor cafes, pigeons everywhere. Very lovely, very familiar. I wandered down one of the side streets, and here is our third word of the episode. To wander. To wander. To wander means to walk slowly, without a specific destination or plan. You're not going somewhere in particular, you're just moving, exploring, drifting a little. Some examples for you. We wandered through the market for an hour, just looking at everything. That means we walked slowly through the market, with no rush, no plan, just enjoying it. He likes to wander around bookshops on Sunday mornings. That means he walks through bookshops slowly, browsing, not rushing, with no particular goal. She wandered away from the group and got a little lost. That one is a bit close to home. To wander. A lovely word, actually. It sounds like what it means. Slow, gentle, drifting. So, I wandered down a side street, then another, then I turned left, or maybe it was right, I honestly cannot remember, and then I found this absolutely gorgeous little square, completely hidden, tiny, beautiful, with a small fountain and flower boxes in every window, and a cat sitting in a doorway, just watching me. Perfect. I sat there for a while, had a coffee at the little cafe on the corner, felt very content, very pleased with myself, like someone who really knows a city. And then I stood up, picked up my bag, and thought, right, I'll head back to the main square now. Easy. Reader, it was not easy. I started walking the way I thought I'd come from. The streets looked sort of familiar, sort of, in the way that old cobbled streets in beautiful cities all look a little bit alike. I turned down one alley, then another, then a slightly wider street, and I thought, yes, this feels right. It did not feel right. It was not right. After about 15 minutes of walking, I arrived at a completely different square. Not the main square, not the little hidden square I'd found. A whole new square, one I had never seen in my life. I stood there, looking around, and I thought, where on earth am I? Where on earth am I? Oh, that is such a useful expression. Where on earth, we add on earth to make a question feel bigger, more dramatic, more frustrated. It doesn't literally mean the planet. It means I have absolutely no idea. None. Not a clue. You can say, where on earth are my keys? Why on earth did he do that? What on earth is going on? It just adds emphasis, a little drama, a little exasperation. Ella's English, teaching you the dramatic expressions since episode 2. Okay, so I'm standing in this mystery square, completely turned around, no idea which direction is which, and I had no phone signal, of course, because the universe had clearly decided that this was going to be a character-building afternoon. I looked around for a street sign. There was one, but it was in the local language, and I didn't recognize the street name at all. That was not helpful. I looked for a landmark I recognized. Nothing. I looked for another human being I could ask. There was one man walking a very small dog on the other side of the square, but by the time I'd decided to go and ask him, he had disappeared around a corner. Of course. So I did the only logical thing. I tried to retrace my steps. And that is our next word, to retrace. To retrace. To retrace means to go back the way you came, to follow the same path again, backwards. If you retrace your steps, you try to walk back along the exact same route you walked before, to find your way back to the beginning. Some examples. She retraced her steps to find her lost earring. That means she walked back the exact way she had come, looking for it along the route. Let's retrace the route on the map to see where we went wrong. That means let's look back at the path we took and work out where we made a mistake. I retraced my steps all the way back to the cafe, but my scarf was gone. That means I went back to the cafe the same way I'd come, but it wasn't there anymore. To retrace. To go back the way you came. So I tried to retrace my steps. I walked back down the street I thought I'd come from. I took what I was pretty sure was the same turning. I walked for a few minutes, feeling cautiously optimistic, which means slightly hopeful but not fully confident. And I arrived back at the exact same square. The same one, the mystery square, with the same fountain and the same flower boxes and, I am not joking, the same cat sitting in the same doorway, looking at me with what I can only describe as mild disappointment. The cat had seen me coming back. The cat knew I was lost. I had been outsmarted by a cat. Okay, new plan. I sat down on the steps near the fountain. I took a deep breath, and I decided to do something I should have done much, much earlier. I pulled out my phone and I looked for Wi-Fi. Because I had no signal. But maybe, just maybe, one of these cafes had open Wi-Fi I could connect to. And yes, the cafe on the corner of the square had Wi-Fi. Beautiful, wonderful, life-saving Wi-Fi. I connected, opened my maps, typed in the name of my hotel, and in about 4 seconds I knew exactly where I was. And do you know how far I was from where I wanted to be? 6 minutes. A 6-minute walk. That is all. I had been wandering around, completely convinced I was deeply, hopelessly lost, and I was 6 minutes from my hotel the entire time. 6 minutes. I sat there on those steps for a little while longer, just to recover. And also because the cat had come over and was now sitting next to me, and I didn't want to be rude. Okay, let's talk about our remaining words, because there are a few really good ones from today's story that I want to make sure you take away with you. Word number 5, convinced. Convinced. Convinced means completely sure about something, fully believing something is true with no doubt in your mind, even if, possibly, you might be wrong. Here are your examples. Listen carefully. She was convinced she had left her keys on the table. That means she was completely sure, 100% certain. No doubt in her mind, the keys were on the table. Except maybe they weren't. He was convinced the film started at 7, but it actually started at 6. That means he had no doubt about the time, he was fully sure. And fully wrong. I was convinced I knew this city, yes, that one, that is the one. I was convinced. And I was not right. Convinced is a wonderful word because it often appears just before something goes wrong. I was convinced, and then, disaster. Convinced, completely sure. Even when you probably shouldn't be. Word number 6, absolutely certain. Now this is a phrase, not just one word. Absolutely certain. Absolutely certain means the same as convinced, but even stronger, even more sure. If you are absolutely certain, there is no room for doubt at all. You are 1000% sure. Examples. Are you sure this is the right road? Absolutely certain, I've driven this way 100 times. That means, yes, no doubt, I know this. She was absolutely certain she'd turned the oven off before leaving.
That means she had zero doubt. No question, the oven was off, probably. I am absolutely certain this cafe has the best coffee in the city. That means completely, totally sure, no argument. Absolutely certain. You can use just certain on its own, that already means very sure. But when you add absolutely, it becomes even stronger. Absolutely certain. And our final word today, word number 7, is one of my favorites. To admit. To admit. To admit means to say something that is true, but something that is difficult or uncomfortable to say. Something you might not want to say, because it means being honest about a mistake, or a weakness, or something embarrassing. Let's hear it in sentences. I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea where we are. That means, I'm being honest with you, even though it's a bit embarrassing, we are lost. She admitted she hadn't read the book, even though she'd talked about it confidently. That means, she finally told the truth, she'd been pretending. I'll admit, I was wrong about that. That means, okay, I accept it, I made a mistake. I'm telling you the truth now. To admit something takes a little courage, it means choosing honesty even when honesty is a bit uncomfortable. And I will admit, sitting on those steps, with the cat next to me and my Maps app open, I had to admit to myself that I had not known this city at all. Not even slightly, but I found my way home, and honestly, I think I know that city a lot better now. Because getting a little bit lost, just a little bit, is actually one of the best ways to really see a place.
Okay, before we say goodbye today, let's go back through every single word and phrase from this episode. 7 in total. Let's make sure they're all sitting comfortably in your memory. Word 1. To get lost. To not know where you are. To have no idea which way to go. I got lost in the city. She gets lost easily in new places. Don't worry, we won't get lost. Word 2. Familiar. Something you know. Something that feels recognized and known to you. This street looks familiar. Her voice was familiar. The smell was warm and familiar. Word 3. To wander. To walk slowly with no plan. To drift and explore without a destination. We wandered through the market. He wandered around the bookshop. She wandered away from the group. Word 4. To retrace. To go back the way you came. To follow your path backwards. I retraced my steps. She retraced the route on the map. He retraced his walk to find the lost item. Word 5. Convinced. Completely sure about something. Fully believing something, with no doubt. She was convinced she was right. He was convinced the film started at 7. I was convinced I knew the city. I was not. Word 6. Absolutely certain. Even stronger than convinced. 100% sure. No doubt at all. Are you sure? Absolutely certain. She was absolutely certain she'd turned the oven off. I am absolutely certain this is the best cafe. Word 7. To admit. To say something true that is hard or uncomfortable to say. To be honest, even when honesty is a little difficult. I have to admit, I had no idea where I was. She admitted she hadn't read the book. I'll admit, I was wrong. 7 words. 7 brilliant, useful, everyday English words. Try to use at least one of them soon. In a message, in a conversation, even just in your head, in a sentence you make up yourself. And now, I have a question for you, as always. Have you ever gotten lost? Not just a little confused, I mean properly, completely, where on earth am I lost? Maybe in a new city. Maybe in a big shopping center. Maybe in a forest. Or maybe just in your own neighborhood somehow. Tell me in the comments. I want to know everything. Where were you? How long were you lost for? How did you find your way back? I read every single comment, and some of your stories from episode 1 were absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing them. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is completely free. Every new episode brings a new story, new vocabulary, new expressions, and new little pieces of natural English you can take away and actually use. Coming up soon, I will tell you about the time I had to give a speech in front of a room full of people, when I had only found out about it 1 hour before. Yes, that really happened. And no, it did not go smoothly. That episode is called Just Say Something, Ella. Until then, keep listening, keep learning, be kind to yourself. And remember, even getting lost has its silver lining. Sometimes the best things you find are the things you weren't looking for. See you in the next one. Bye for now.